Hello and welcome to this session. This video is especially for mathematics. In mathematics, I am going to teach you quadratic equation. Okay, so let's get started. In the video, we will be able to know about roots, the nature of. So we will be studying. So dear students, first of all, we should know about quadratic expression. So any expression, any polynomial whose degree is 2 is said to be quadratic expression. For example, ax square plus bx plus c is a quadratic expression because its degree is what? Its degree is 2. And what is degree? Degree is the highest power of the variable in a polynomial. So first of all, make sure that it's a polynomial, and then after see the degree. The degree is 2, therefore it will be what type of expression? Quadratic expression. Now I am going to teach you some, inequality sign. This is said to be greater than, this is said to be less than, this is said to be greater than or equal to, this is said to be less than or equal to, and last is equality. This is equality sign. All these four are inequality signs, but this is equality sign. Okay. So when you put quadratic expression equal to something, this becomes quadratic equation. Okay, so the quadratic corresponding quadratic equation will be what? Ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So we will equate it to 0. I can equate it to a constant also, but make sure that in any condition a must not be equal to 0. A 0 नहीं होना चाहिए. A might be greater than 0. Yes, it should be greater than 0 or less than 0, but it should not be equal to 0. As A becomes 0, this quadratic equation becomes 0x square plus bx plus c equal to 0. It implies that 0 into x square is 0, so it will become bx plus c equal to 0, which is not a quadratic equation because its degree is 1. So any equation whose degree is 1 cannot be the quadratic equation. Therefore, it is very important that a should not be equal to 0. A is what? The coefficient of x square. B is what? The coefficient of x, and c is what? The constant term. Okay. So a derived formula according to Sridharacharya rule, we know very well that ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. For this, x becomes minus b plus minus root under b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Yes, and here split into two parts, like x equal to minus b plus root under b square minus 4ac upon 2a, the first one, and the second part will become minus b minus root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Okay, so either of them is said to be alpha. Either of them you can say as it is alpha and it is beta. You can assume beta also to it, then it will be alpha. Okay, listen, this is merely a symbol to just represent the roots and nothing else. I can represent the roots with x, y, or with u, v, or with st. Doesn't matter what symbol I am representing, what symbol I am using, but for the sake of convenience, as conventionally it is used alpha and beta, okay, for roots. So now we will be studying about the relationships of roots to the coefficients. When we do alpha plus beta, it will become how much? This is minus b plus. So when you add it, minus b plus root under b square minus 4ac upon 2a, when you do plus, it will become minus, on the place of beta you will put it, minus b minus root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Okay, so the LCM will be how much? The LCM will be 2a and minus b plus root b square minus 4ac plus again minus b minus root b square minus 4ac. It's okay. Now it will become minus b plus root b square minus 4ac minus b minus root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Okay. So this term and this term will be cancelled. So minus b minus 2b upon 2a. This gives us minus b by a. We have to relate it with the coefficient of the quadratic equation. And what was our equation? Our equation was ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So here minus b should be written as minus coefficient of x divided by a is what? Coefficient of x square. Coefficient of x square. So this is the relation between alpha and beta, alpha plus beta and its coefficient. When you add the roots of a quadratic equation, it will be equal to minus coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square. So now let's see what will be alpha into beta. If you do alpha into beta and if you will multiply both, suppose this to this, when you will multiply, it will become what? It will become c upon a. Okay. So c is what? Constant term upon, once again, a is what? Coefficient of x square. So this relation between alpha plus beta to the coefficients and alpha into beta to the coefficient has been established. I have just given it. So first of all, we should understand that ax square plus bx plus c, if you take a as common, it might be written as a into x minus alpha into x minus beta. Okay, where alpha and beta are the roots. And if, just keep it in mind that in polynomial you must have studied that if 2 is zeros of something, therefore x minus 2 will be its divisor, will be its factor. Similarly, if alpha is the 0 or the root, then x minus alpha will be what? X minus alpha will be the factor. And if beta is the root, then x minus beta will also be a factor. And here a is the constant term which is the coefficient of x square. We'll multiply it with a and then it becomes a x minus alpha x minus beta. In reality, you will see that how it becomes. It is proportional. It is proportional to this. What? It is proportional to this. Now I am just going to derive it. Ax square plus bx plus c. When you equate it, then there must be some constant here. So x minus alpha, x minus beta. Okay. Now multiply. So k x square minus alpha plus beta into x plus alpha into beta. You have multiplied it. Now multiply with k. It will become kx square minus k into alpha plus beta into x plus k alpha beta. Just keep it in mind that it is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. Now equate it. The coefficient of x square is what? The coefficient of x square is what? K, and here coefficient of x square is what? A. So k will become a. Now your k, value of k becomes a. The coefficient of x is what? K into alpha plus beta. It is k into alpha plus beta. So, and the coefficient of x, sorry, minus k, and the coefficient of x is minus b. So you can write here minus b. Sorry, b. You can write here. Now, you know k equal to a. So put the value of k here. A and then find out the value of alpha plus beta, it will be b upon minus k, which will be equal to minus b upon a, because k is equal to a. So here we have shown that alpha plus beta equal to minus b upon a once again. Now the third term, k alpha beta, is the constant term here, and here the constant term is c. We will equate it to c, and then after finding alpha beta, it will be c by k, which will be c by a. Okay, coefficients you can see, it is the minus coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square. It is constant term upon coefficient of x square. So therefore we chose to write this equation in the form of its roots like this. Just have a look. We can write it ax square plus bx plus c equal to a into x minus alpha into x minus beta. Why a? Because if you equate it with a, proportionality sign, that when it will be abolished, so we'll put some constant like k, and k will become equal to a. Therefore it will finally become a. So we write ax square plus bx plus c equal to a into x minus alpha into x minus beta. Keep it in mind. Okay, so this expression is here, and there is a Sridharacharya rule, but we don't have lots of time to prove Sridharacharya rule, but we can do it. So further we are going to study what the graphical representation will, because that is very much important for you. So the graphical representation, how can we do? So first of all, ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 is a quadratic equation. Okay, and the term which comes when you find x like minus b plus minus root under b square minus 4ac upon 2a, in this term we regard discriminant as d, and it is equal to b square minus 4ac. So there are something related to this. When d equal to 0, what will be the nature of roots? When d less than 0, what will be the nature of roots? When d greater than 0, what will be the nature of roots? Very importantly, that it can also be written as minus b plus minus root d upon 2a. So d going to play a very important role in finding the roots here. The nature of d also very important. D greater equal to 0, if it will become equal to 0, then what will be the roots? In this context, the roots will be, just I am going to tell you briefly, d will be equal to 0, so what will become? Minus b plus minus 0 upon 2a, which will finally be minus b upon 2a. So d equal to 0, then roots will be minus b upon 2a. Don't think that there is only one root. There are two roots here, and both roots are equal. It means minus b by 2a is alpha, and beta is also minus b by 2a. Now when d less than 0, if d less than 0, you know very well, root under d, and if d is less than 0, the root of negative is imaginary number, which will you study in complex number. So imaginary number, any number under root, like root minus 2, root minus 3, root minus 4, you can say that these numbers are imaginary number, and you cannot represent it on real number line. Therefore, in this context, when d is less than 0, the roots are imaginary. Okay. When d greater than 0, then there is possibility that either d may be the perfect square or not a perfect square. So here will be two cases: perfect square, if d will be perfect square, and not a perfect square. Just keep it in mind. These are very important things to know. When d greater than or equal to 0, it means d greater than, it means d is positive, it might be a perfect square. When it will be a perfect square, then the value is going to become, real and rational. Rational roots. Rational roots will be there. Rational roots, real, already real, rational roots. And one thing, when this value of a becomes 1, it means the coefficient of x square becomes 1, then rational roots becomes integral roots. It means it will not be in fraction or in decimal, it will be like something 2, 3, minus 2, 4, like this. Okay, this is integral. So you have understood that perfect square, if d is a perfect square, then root d will become something, and then rational roots will be there, and then integral roots will come when, for this there is a condition, when a, it means coefficient of x square will be equal to 1. Now, not a perfect square. If root d will not be, if d is not a perfect square, obviously d will be some irrational number. Okay, when d will be some irrational number, so it will occur here in pairs. It means minus b plus root d upon 2a and minus b minus root d upon 2a. In this circumstance, there are always conjugate roots. It means if one root will become a plus root b, automatically the other root will become a minus root b. So they are said to be in conjugate. Okay, got it? Once again I am saying that if one root will become x minus root y, okay, then other root will automatically become x plus root y. For the sake of understanding, I have taken these two variables x and y here. Similar in the case when d less than 0, now I am going to tell you here that when d less than 0, then there are two cases also. What are the two cases? The roots always comes in conjugate form. It means, and they will come in the form of, suppose p by p plus iq is one root, then its conjugate p minus iq will be the another root. Okay, so p plus iq and p minus iq, you should understand it. What is the value of I? I is said to be iota, and it is equivalent to root minus 1. Therefore, I square will be equal to minus 1. Understood? So I square equal to minus 1. Therefore, if I ask you what will be the value of I power 4, it will be I square to the whole square. It means minus 1 square. It means 1. So I power 4 is that value which gives you the positive real number. Okay. I is what? Iota, and it is used for representing imaginary numbers. Here, root minus 2 can be represented as root 2i, root minus 3 can be represented as root 3i, root minus 4 can be represented as root 4i, which will become 2i. Got it? So these are all imaginary numbers. Okay, and what would happen when imaginary roots will be there? When d will be less than 0, then imaginary roots will be there, and they will occur in conjugate. I hope here everything is clear. Let's proceed. Graphs of quadratic expression. Graphs of ax square plus bx plus c. Okay, just understand that ax square plus bx plus c is an expression, and you can find the graph of this expression. You cannot find the graph of this quadratic equation, because quadratic, when it becomes equation, it will give you two roots. Okay, and when there will be two roots, how can you draw the graph? You cannot. So you will draw the graph for expression, not for equation. Just keep it in mind. So ax square plus bx plus c. Let's see what will be the nature of graph when a greater than 0. Okay, so with a greater than 0, there are some cases. Okay, some cases like will be that it is a plane, x axis is there, x, x dash, y, y dash. Okay. So now, when a greater than 0, then the graph of ax square plus bx plus c will be upward parabolic. It will be how much? It will be how look like it? So it will look like an upward parabolic, like this, okay, or like this, or like this. From here it will become, or like this here, okay, or simply it might touch the x-axis. Okay, it might touch, but all these things shows the conditions when it will touches the x-axis, when it will intersect the x-axis. Okay, so it means what? You have understood the nature that when a will be greater than 0, the graph will be upward parabolic. So upward parabolic it will be. Listen, here I am going to make you understand it. So it will be like this. When it will be like this, it is just touching the x-axis. It means just touches the x-axis. It means the value of, this is origin, the value of x, suppose here it is x equal to alpha, then there is one and only one root here, or you can say two roots but at the same point. Okay, it means alpha bara equal to beta. Simple. And this location is this. So what does it mean? A greater than 0 and d equal to 0. D equal to 0. When d equal to 0, then roots are equal. Okay, and at that time the parabola will simply touch the x-axis. Okay. Similarly, in the second scenario, when a will be less than 0 but d equal to 0, what would happen? It will simply go downward parabolic and touches the x-axis. Okay, only one root be here, or two roots you can say, but they are equal. But it will be downward parabolic because a is less than 0. So whenever a is negative, it means coefficient of x square is negative, the graph will be downward parabolic. And whenever the coefficient of x, it means a greater than 0, the graph will be upward parabolic. Suppose a greater than 0 and moreover d is also greater than 0. Okay, the second case is a less than 0 and d greater than 0. What would happen? Okay, so let's see the graph and its nature. So it will be like this. Okay, so when in the first case a greater than 0, the graph will be upward parabolic, you know very well. D greater than 0, when d greater than 0, then there will be two distinct roots, two different roots. Okay, and if d is perfect square, then alpha and beta will be rational or integral. Okay, but when d is not a perfect square, then alpha and beta means the two roots will be conjugate and they will be irrational. So suppose the graph is going like this. Okay, the graph is going like this. So this will become one place, let's say alpha, and this will become other place, let's say beta. Okay, so in this case the graph will be like this, and in this case the graph will be something like this. Okay, let's say here is some point gamma, here is some point delta. Okay, so it is downward, upward, vertically the parabolic downward. Okay, why parabolic downward? Because a is less than 0, and since d greater than 0, therefore it will intersect the x-axis at two distinct points. Similarly here it had intersected the x-axis at two distinct points, and these two distinct points are the roots of the equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Okay, this graph is for this expression ax square plus bx plus c, but these points, it means the roots, are for the equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Just keep it in mind. It is very imperative to understand. So let's proceed. A greater than 0 but d less than 0, and a less than 0 and d less than 0. In both the cases, what would happen? In first case, I'm just so you can understand that a greater than 0. So parabola will be upward. There is no doubt in it. The parabola will be upward. It means the graph of quadratic equation will be upward. Okay. So if it will be upward, it might be like this, whatever, open mouthed, upward. Okay. But d less than 0, and I have just taught you that when d less than 0, roots are imaginary. It means you cannot find any point on the x-axis to represent the imaginary roots. Got it? You cannot find any point on the x-axis because it's not real, it's imaginary. So the graph will be like this, something like this. Okay. It will never touch x-axis. Okay? Or like this. It will never touch x-axis in the case when a greater than 0 but d less than 0. It might be like this also. Okay. But in all the cases, the graph is not going to hit the x-axis. Keep it in mind. In the second case, when a is less than 0 but d is less than 0 also. So what would happen? Simple. A is less than 0, downward. And since d is less than 0, so in the same graph I am going to teach you, it will be like this. Will not touch x-axis anywhere. Will not touch x-axis. Will not touch x-axis anywhere. Okay. Got it? And downward parabolic. So these are the three main cases in the graph that I wanted to share with you. But some derivation. Right now I am going to derive something related to it which is very important. Okay. So have a look